Hello, welcome. Welcome to our Young Entrepreneur Institute December Power Hour on zooming into 2025 creative strategies to jumpstart the new year. I am Elizabeth Choice, Senior Manager of Education at Young Entrepreneur Institute. I actually just celebrated 6 months with YI after transitioning out of the classroom at the end of last school year. I worked for 22 years as an elementary teacher, so I know all about finding new and innovative ways to capture kids' attention, engage in their learning. Uh, our music today, as you heard, is the Final Countdown by Europe, a classic known to most of us. So let's get excited as we count down 2024 and start thinking ahead for new and inventive ideas for 2025. We had the question here, what level and content area do you teach? And do you have a New Year's resolution related to your teaching practice? So I see we had one to choose a word for the year. I like that, Dawn. Last year's word was 2 words. Um, be present. So that's always a good mantra. So feel free to keep sharing, even if you haven't put it in the chat yet, your what level you teach and any resolutions you have. We have, yeah, K-8 program manager, social studies, great. Computer science, awesome. So just to get to know each other a little bit. So we have some great ideas for coming up with a few people, a few speakers today. There's many ways to make learning fun, existing activities that we have, but ways that you can build on those to develop for your programming. We're going to talk about resources that you can use to incorporate entrepreneurial skills into your program and help teach kids about many topics as you start thinking about your plans for the new year. And I will say that the online platform, Yippee, has a host of games, activities, curriculum, other resources that can be purchased via points for educators. It's a grant-funded source for many types of materials and resources for educators both in and out of school time. And much of what our speakers will mention today is available on Yippee. If you haven't registered for the Yippee website, feel free to stick around at the end. We can help you with that and give you more information about Yippee. And then we can have the, agenda slide. So today we're going to hear from 3 organizations, all dedicated to finding the best ways to keep educational activities exciting and fun. So Laura Manning from, I'm gonna try to say it right, LaJashley will get us started giving an overview of her journey and how it led to developing educational resources that incorporate many different aspects and skills. After that, we will hear from Don Bolus from the Jacobson Institute, who will share some programs that have been created as opportunities to help you learn and bring into your programming. And then we will hear from Lisa Taylor about her methods for promoting mindset skills through a variety of activities that you can use and develop in your own ways. And just a quick reminder that the content from this Power Hour will be sent to you after the program. So you should feel free to ask any questions during the presentation in the chat. And then we will also be recording this for anybody who wants to watch it later. So before I turn the mic over to Laura, I'd like to share a little bit more. Laura is a chemist who is dedicated to healthy natural product development and distribution. And she knew it was possible to make products that were healthier and safer than products mass produced for stores in the mall. And I'm going to let her take it from there and share a little bit about her journey and what she has to offer to us. So Laura, do you want to talk?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Laura Manning. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for allowing me to speak to these wonderful educators today. As Elizabeth has said, I am a chemist. I'm also a STEM teacher and STEM coordinator and entrepreneur, who is very passionate about making science come alive for students. But a little bit of my background, I started as a formulation chemist, creating 100% natural vegan hair and skincare for all hair and skin types. I'm very passionate about adopting a natural lifestyle in all aspects of life, especially when it comes to what we put in and on our bodies. So I incorporated an educational aspect to my business at the end of last year, and this is where LaJashley Little Science Lab was birthed. So my main company is called LaJashley. That is more focused on natural products for hair and skincare, and then LaJashley Little Science Labs focus on STEM kits and STEM workshops, different aspects of STEM and bridging entrepreneurship and science together. So um, through LaJashley Little Science Lab, I've been fortunate to share hands-on STEM workshops, kits, and empower educators to incorporate these fun activities into their classrooms. So today, I want to talk about how we can creatively jumpstart 2025 with simple, effective strategies in STEM. So I'll be diving into tools like LaJashley Little Science Lab STEM kits, which are available on Yippee Exchange, which offers interactive resources and a structured curriculum, which can transform your classroom and give your students that extra opportunity to thrive, no matter how long it takes them to grasp a concept. So LaJashley Little Science Lab STEM kits, again, available on Yippee Exchange, are designed for students age 6 and up and aims to bridge the gap between theoretical science and practical application. So currently there are two different types of 100% natural, vegan-friendly experiments with more to come next year that students can dive into and understand scientific principles in a hands-on interactive way. So one of the kits focuses on a botanical hair and body mist, where students can create an all-natural alternative to the toxic body sprays currently on the market, and also Eco Lip Elixir, which is a lip balm kit. So both are also available in refill kits on the Yippee platform as well. And so one of the keys to success in STEM education in my personal teaching experience is breaking complex concepts into manageable sections. So with LaJashley Little Science Lab STEM kits, for example, we've structured the curriculum to focus on specific topics like formulation chemistry and even the basics of engineering. So each kit it contains everything you need for a hands-on experiment so you can focus on teaching without the stress of gathering supplies. That comes with step-by-step guides, which allows students to work through the material at their own pace or at the pace that you set for them as an educator. And so if some students grasp a concept quickly, they can move on to more enrichment activities, while others can take the time they need to build their understanding of that concept. So the curriculum is very flexible, so you can spread it over weeks or months to ensure that everyone gets the time they need to absorb and apply what they've learned. The other unique aspect of the LaJashley Little Science Lab curriculum is that it focuses on entrepreneurship. So we don't just teach science, we also teach students how to apply what they've learned to understand entrepreneurial aspects of a specific product-based business. So entrepreneurial aspects like formulating a pitch. So how do you explain your idea in a way that captures attention? Or understanding your audience. So who are you selling to and why should they care? Analyzing costs and profits, like what's the balance between affordability and quality, evaluating business strategies. So how do you market and refine your product for success? So those lessons help students develop skills that go beyond the lab, showing them how science and business intersect in a more fun, exciting way. By blending STEM concepts with entrepreneurship, we're preparing students for, I believe, future opportunities that require innovation and critical thinking. Additional resources and tools that can also help really enhance the STEM learning experience are Study Island. That's a platform, I'm not sure if Some educators are familiar with it, but its platform is perfect for reinforcing concepts through interactive lessons and quizzes, assignments, especially for tracking students' progress and identifying areas where they may need some extra support. So that the other one, and I'll put it in the chat, so just in case you guys are not sure. So the first one is Study Island. The next one is called FET, FET simulations. These are online simulations, which are a lifesaver for like visualizing abstract concepts. So students can explore like energy transfer, molecular interactions in ways that can feel like playing a game. Project-based learning. So you can pair the STEM kits with larger product projects that tie into real world applications. So for instance, after creating the sprays and lip balms, the students can design and market their own cosmetic line, with branding, creating a slogan, and even showcase or like have a showcase where they can sell their creations. And so I feel like those are three ways that can ensure even like the most reluctant learners can find an approach that resonates with them. And then last but not least, I want to leave you with some ideas to make this upcoming year one that's exciting, it's explorative. I am a new STEM teacher, so I literally just teach STEM to kids in a charter school twice a week, and there's just some things because they're a very challenging group. So there have just been a lot of different ways that I've been able to just incorporate different things that just kind of like spark their attention and keep it. So kicking off the year with curiosity. So starting the year with a question or a mystery for students to solve. So for example, what makes a natural product effective? Or how can we design an eco-friendly gadget? STEM exploration days, host a hands-on STEM fair with stations that highlight different concepts. So like one table can focus on LaJashley kits while the other can have PhET simulations running on tablets, or year-long challenges, which encourage students to work on big projects throughout the year, such as creating maybe like a prototype for a sustainable product or mapping out a city that runs entirely on renewable energy. And something that has been working effectively for me sometimes when I feel a little bit overwhelmed, if I feel like the kids are just riled up, I'll empower like peer on peer mentorship or help. So where I like identify students who excel in specific areas and can help guide their peers. So I give the ones that I feel like are just grasping the concepts a little bit more with more responsibility, and they're kind of like my helper for that concept. And so I feel like that helps to foster collaboration and build confidence. And then also celebrating milestones. One thing that the charter school that has in terms of like a reward system, they have a studio, and so I get to issue them points that turn into time in the studio where they can play games and make music and things of that nature. And so just always allowing the kids to feel, celebrated, feel rewarded for what they accomplish. And so um, just hope that I was able to spark some type of curiosity, a little bit of creativity when it comes to the tools that I mentioned and the resources and the ideas. By using LaJashley Science Lab kits, you can break the curriculum into manageable sections and while integrating entrepreneurial skills so that STEM can be more accessible and exciting for every student, and so that every student gets an opportunity to feel like they can learn and understand STEM. Uh, and yeah, so hope that helped. Thank you for your time.
That was amazing. I love I love how many different aspects that really covers and overlaps and really connects I think for everybody, just to get kind of thinking about how they can use all of these different resources or any of these. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have next we have Don Bolus. Don has been instrumental in the upstart and development of the Jacobson Institute, spearheading two programs focused on innovation and entrepreneurship. I was fortunate enough to take her BizInnovator high school entrepreneurship course for educators this summer, which has helped me as I continue to learn about and understand the entrepreneurial world. So, Dawn, if you'd like to talk a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of the group tonight. Laura, I just was sitting here, my mind was blowing up as I was Googling the things that you're doing. So really interested in following up with you as well. I'm going to share my screen. I have a few slides that'll share some background information about the Jacobson Institute and the work that we're doing. Um, I just celebrated my 24th year here at the University of Iowa and have had the opportunity to develop the Jacobson Institute from the ground up. And the one of the initiatives I really want to highlight tonight is the intersection between invention and entrepreneurship, and looking at how you can bring students into uh, the experience of problem-based learning and problem solving through both invention mindset and entrepreneurial mindset. And the programs that we've created help foster both of those opportunities. So when we kind of look at what it is that we're doing out of the Jacobson Institute, we really wanted to become a one-stop shop for educators that are looking for curriculum and professional development and opportunities for their students to engage in. So I'll go through each of these programs, Kid Innovator, Biz Innovator, and I'll share with you information about our Innovator competition as well. So one of the things that we kind of look at is that the younger students, so thinking about maybe from fourth grade up, I haven't had educators teaching grade levels lower than fourth grade use Kid Innovator. I'm sure that it could be used and could be adapted, but I haven't heard from educators yet feedback on that. So I'm really looking at kind of that fourth grade and up. And one of the things that we know is that the more exposure students get to problem-based learning, thinking about problems and being creative in terms of their solutions through invention or entrepreneurship, the more opportunities they have to do that sort of thinking, the easier it will be for them as they move on out into the world around them, whether they go to work for themselves as an entrepreneur or whether they go to work for someone else. And I always like to think of this as kind of like playing the piano. The first time that you do this, the first time you play, you're not good. I'm still not good. I definitely didn't practice enough, but practice is really one of the most important aspects of developing the types of skills and mindsets that we know students need across the board for their college and career readiness. So a little bit about our Kid Innovator program. Like I mentioned, and I'm going to put the link out into the chat. In the chat, I've got both the link to, oh, actually, I just linked to you. I'm sorry, I linked the wrong thing, but that's fine. It's a little bit later. I wanted to provide you with a link to the Henry Ford so that you could see whether or not your state has an invention program. So keep that kind of in the back of your mind. What I just put out into the chat are the links for to learn more about Kid Innovator, both on Yippee as well as through the Jacobson Institute, depending on whether or not you have Yippee points. So Kid Innovator is really designed to be turnkey. It's completely project-based. It expects the expectation is that students are thinking outside of the box. They're working through, at this point in time, the curriculum that's out there is the entrepreneurial track. But what we've done this past summer was to build out an inventor track as a way to support teachers who are sending their students to the invention convention. We wanted to create direct pathway to support teachers so that they would have everything that they need in order to have their students be prepared. We just recently became the state affiliate for our state of Iowa. So we were doing this work to benefit the teachers in Iowa, and we are making that available through Yippee and through our own website for other educators that are wanting to incorporate invention and entrepreneurship. So any teacher that signs up for the entrepreneur track now, which is what's out on our website, as soon as we have the inventor track ready and ready to publish, we will provide that to the teacher at no additional cost to them. So this is really a good time to kind of get involved in that. What we noticed when we were building this out, we already had the entrepreneurial track in place, and we had gotten a good response from that, from teachers that were using that. When we went to incorporate invention into Kid Innovator, we realized that we had two packages here, and that a lot of the teachers that are doing invention, convention, or invention education programs are starting in the fall, and then they're wrapping those programs up by mid-February, mid-March, and moving to their state competition. And that left an opening where we felt that it was nice that a teacher could bundle. You could do either or bundle, so that if you've done that invention convention and your students have submitted all of their work toward the invention convention in their state, or if your state does not have invention convention, you can go through the independent inventor program. That then that second bundle of the entrepreneur track can come into place, where it would give your students a chance to think about, okay, I've come up with an invention. Now, what's the process of commercialization? Are there customers that actually want and need what I've created? Do they have that problem that I've got? Or is there additional work that needs to be done? So these can be used kind of independent from each other or bundled together. This is some feedback from the Yippee reviews. We only have 2 reviews on the Yippee website for our Kid Innovator. We haven't pushed this program quite as much, just bandwidth issues from our end. And then looking ahead to our high school entrepreneurial program, our BizInnovator startup program, that's the program that Elizabeth went through, the professional development. Eileen has also gone through that program probably several years ago now. And the way this works is that the curriculum is turnkey. You do not have to complete the professional development in order to use the curriculum. It's a companion that can help you get the most out of the curriculum. It can also offer you the opportunity to offer college credit to your high school students. So that college credit comes through the University of Iowa, which is an accredited institution, and that credit goes on to a student's transcript, and it will go with them to the 2 or 4-year college that they are enrolled in. So it can move across with them. Last year, this curriculum was used by educators in 40 states and 16 countries. Here are some of the reviews for out on Yippee. So we're really pleased to see that people are enjoying and getting a lot out of both the curriculum and the professional development program. I've got the dates here if there's anyone that wants to. This is also on our website. I put the link to BizInnovator in out on the chat. If you go under the professional development, that's where you will see these timeframes open up. The professional development is held completely online. It's on Zoom. It's live and synchronous. We meet once a week. It's very engaged. It's very hands-on, and you, as the participant, are going through the curriculum in much the same way that then you will use that curriculum in the class with your own students. I think this resource is being shared out with you, so I'm happy to just let you read the testimonials on your own time. The Innovator competition, I wanted to highlight, this isn't something that costs you anything. This is just a nice opportunity for those of you that have high school age students that have a business that's operating or an idea for a business invention or innovation that they want to pursue. We run this competition in the fall and the spring. You don't have to use our curriculum in order to have students engage in the competition. This is really our way to try and encourage the innovation and entrepreneurial spirit. And what I will say is that more and more, what I see coming across for this competition are a lot of inventions. So there's a lot of focus right now happening around invention and kind of that commercialization of a new product or a new device. And the other thing that I see are operating businesses. So students that they may be reselling a product, they may be um, coming up with something that they've got an Etsy page or a shop on Amazon. It's amazing what they're out there and what they're doing in terms of operational businesses. So that's the information that I have for you today. And I will drop my email address into the chat as well. I saw someone had posted that there is an Ohio Invention Convention. Yes, that's true. I don't remember how many states they're in now, but I think it's over 20. So it's becoming more and more that you can find an invention convention. And then what we're doing is building our curriculum products to sync right into the invention convention program. Um, or not if you're not interested in going the route of invention convention. Thank you.
Great. That's so many. I love that you're ever evolving and thinking about how to connect with the biggest audience and the most, reach as many people as possible. So that's great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Next, we have Lisa Taylor. So just like many of us and these speakers so far, Lisa also wears a few different hats. She's a classroom teacher in Northwest Arkansas, as well as a Yippee provider. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that she was just defending her dissertation. So promoting lifelong learning and that spirit of things. Is that correct?
Well, I am still working on my dissertation.
Working on the dissertation.
I passed stats, so now I've finished all the coursework. So I am a candidate for a doctoral degree. So I'm still working on that part. But
all right. So
that's
best
the
of
goal.
luck on that in the lifelong learning journey.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you. Let's see if I can get that up because I'm not as techie as I should be. Okay. Present. Okay, so I teach 5th grade. Can you see my screen now? Is it entrepreneurship and STEM? Okay, great. So I love making real world connections within my classroom. I teach 5th grade, all subjects, and so I have to integrate the STEM and the entrepreneurship into my Common Core skills, or we have Arkansas State frameworks here, but they're very similar to the Common Core. So it's important that as my curriculum, it's not like my kids doesn't think that we're doing reading, we're doing science, we're studying economics and entrepreneurship, like the ice cream. I'm in the bottom two. We like to mix it up. And so I love when my kids are like, I'll say, oh, let's put this math sheet up or this math. And they're like, we're doing math. And I'm like, yeah. So it's like today we're working on line plots. So we built windmills and then we're going to plot the data. So I like everything to be integrated. That's my teaching approach. But I love I love teaching innovation because it's so important to our economy. And this just shows you what percent STEM education, why it's so important. I love pulling out the inventions. And so I think this is one of my favorite things to do is like just highlight inventions. And so this is one of the things that I open up my class with is write down an invention that has changed your life. And so the kids, it's so funny. They start generating their ideas, and then we put them in 4 categories. Did it solve a problem, entertain, make a task easier, improve a product? And so with this, we have discourse. I'll have a kid that will have it and solve a problem, and then I'll have the same invention and make a task easier. And so then we get to have this higher level of discussion about they have to justify their answers. And so through the discourse and through their judgment and their evaluation, they're using higher thinking skills. And so not only are we figuring out how to identify problems and make tasks easier, we're also communicating at higher levels, learning to justify and learning how to listen and correspond with each other. And I think that's an important skill that all grades need to have. So with my curriculum, the 4 C's are really important. Our school just got certified as a model STEM school last year. And so these were the components that they kept looking for: the critical thinking, the creativity, the collaboration, and the communication. And we know that those are entrepreneur skills, but they're also just 21st century skills that our students need to have to be successful in life. And so you'll see the creativity, the new ideas, the original thinking, thinking outside the box, imagination, open-mindedness. Those are all important for our kids to be successful. So going back to the inventors, I want my students to see themselves as inventors too. And so we used to do this a long time with mathematicians. Our kids didn't see themselves as a mathematician or a scientist. So we wanted to start teaching them to picture themselves as an inventor or an entrepreneur or a mathematician or a scientist. And so it's important that we find literature that they can see themselves in, but they can also see the skills that those people used to be an inventor. Okay. So one of the first STEM activities that I offer on Yippee is my Slinky Innovation. This is not my books. I love these books, and so they come with the set and then lessons to go with them. The Slinky Innovator, this is the James family, and we talk about how they came up with it. But my favorite, I'll let this play. My kids, we read The Marvelous Thing About a Spring, and in it, Richard James invented it based on, he was a naval engineer, and for World War II, he was trying to take inventory, or like, what did it say? A device that would keep fragile ship equipment from vibrating on choppy seas. So he tried different springs. And so when a spring came on his desk, he knew that he invented something. And it said, so did Richard's imagination. So just pointing out that students use their imagination. So later on, they had to look up a name, and his wife came up with Slinky, and it just fit perfectly. Then it goes through how he needed to borrow money, the whole part of being an entrepreneur. So at the middle, he had one store that said that he could put up a display. And so on Christmas Eve, he set up a display. Oh, no, it was in November, but it was close to Christmas, and people were looking for stocking stuffers. And so he set up a demonstration, and then he let it go. And all of a sudden, he sold out of all of his Slinkies. And so for the STEM, their STEM challenge is they are to create a display that Richard could have used to get his Slinkies to be noticed that day. And so they create boxes, they try to walk it down, but then we also connect it with a lot of potential and kinetic energy and science lessons. So you get more bang for your buck whenever you can tie those standards together. Okay. So just looking at the different skills that entrepreneurs and inventors need. Through all that, I love putting these on my timeline. I think timelines are important because it teaches kids the chronological order, but it also helps them lessen the abstractness because, like, when my kids are reading, I have it all on the top of my classroom and we keep adding to it whenever they find a date and stuff. And so I will be watching my kids read sometimes, and then their eyes are looking on the timeline to see where their event actually happens. And so I think that is so important because they start identifying those time periods and then they can mark them with other time periods. I had to put my date on the timeline because I was tired of them asking me if I was in the Revolutionary War time, or because time is so abstract, they would want to know if, I was alive during World War One. Clearly, I wasn't. After today, Grinch Day, I kind of look like I might have been, but I wasn't. And so it's really important that students just start seeing the abstractness of where the time periods happen. Then they can also see that, like, okay, so you see the slinky, you also see that the frisbee is really close. And so entertainment is starting to be important during this time. The frisbee, some games started being invented. Baseball was really at a hype. So it's just neat to see the patterns within history. So this shows you some. The next book I love is The Boy Who Invented the Popsicle. And it talks about Frank Epstein. What was it? Frank's favorite pastime was inventing. And so I think this is really important that he was a kid and he was already starting to invent. It says he tinkered and tested, he analyzed and scrutinized. And so by the time he was 10, he had already masterminded his first invention. So throughout this, students can see that they can start inventing now. They don't have to wait. And the popsicle, that he started playing with flavors when he was a kid, but he didn't become the popsicle person overnight. It says in the middle, it says, as he grew older, Frank's invention did not melt from his memory. He just tucked it away. And I think that is really important, that we see that those ideas that they have as kids can also just stay with them. So this is all the stuff that comes with that packet. So it's really fun. And you see kids that are exploring and making their own popsicle flavors and tying those back. And then the last one is the bubble gum invention. And students come up with their new bubble gum and design their stuff. Flip is about the frisbee, and we collect a lot of data on that and try to market ours and see if we can improve the product. And then we look at all the different types of frisbees that are out there and how they've changed. And then look at the patents and things like that. So I play the stock market game with my kids, and they really investigate different companies and different toy companies and their inventors. And that I think that is a fun connection. But this just shows you all the different types of frisbees they've made. And to wrap this up, at the end of the year, we do a big bulletin board, and it says it's the best year ever. And they draw their favorite events and they describe it with words. And so, as you can see, there's no worksheets on there. There's no standardized test. It's what did they remember and what stuck with them. And I think that teaching hands-on, integrated is just the way to do it. Keeps kids engaged and having fun while they learn. Let me stop my share. I think that's it.
That was amazing. That was so many ideas and in such a short time. That's great. Thank you for giving us ideas on, how to brainstorm and bring all these different ideas into different programming. That was great. Yeah, getting a lot of positive feedback in the chat here. So thank you. So first and foremost, thank you very much to all three of our speakers. I mean, I think that was just, I would say like idea overload, except it wasn't an overload. It was just so many great things. So thank you all. I think that gives us so many jumping off points to start thinking about how we can use different things in different classrooms and clubs and out of school activities and everything. So thank you very, very much. And thank you all for joining us to hear all of them. So a couple quick announcements. Our next Power Hour is going to be on Monday, January 27th. And that's going to be focused around guest speakers that you can bring in to your class or club. So make sure to save the date for that. And then breaking news this spring, our Celebrate Youth Entrepreneurship field trip is back and bigger than ever. We will have 2 dedicated tracks, one for middle school and one for high school. Deja Taylor will be back with us after a very successful visit to our Inspire conference in the fall. So save the date. It will be March 10th, Monday, March 10th, for those in Northeast Ohio, to bring your students for this amazing event, and look for an email in your inbox this week with more details if you're in Northeast Ohio.